Alright, everybody, welcome back. So, we are playing Planetaries, and I wanted to do a couple chapter beginner's guide on what to do. Real quick, look at the beauty of this right now. Like, holy crap, you know? So here's my base, a real simple base in the very beginning. This is just for demonstration. I'll show you some more in detailed bases in future videos to come. So as you see, we got the normal stuff here, the particle accelerators, we've got the thermo cookers, we've got the fusion reactor, we've got the quantum printer, and then we also have the storage container and plenty of room for more. That's kind of why you built this way, and then the bed off to the side. So as you see in the center, there was a water extraction. Now, typically, you would normally have 2 to 4 minimal, and you would be going in multiple paths and going one after another. As you see, I have separated, just to show you in this demonstration, separated the water molecules that you'll need, and it's 50 is what you need, but it's really hard. You can spend however much time you want on getting excuse me, on getting the exact perfect amount of 50. But if it's over, even if it's in the 60 range, you might spend even more time and might not have enough slots to be able to put them all, as you see here. So you want to keep separating them as you go, obviously, and it's I'm using a controller and a mouse and everything, because most computer games, especially on PC, you have a lot to choose from, how to bind controller and bind this, that, and the other. So being able to mix and match the cost stuff. So as you see, I'm kind of like separating some by holding shift, the left shift on your your computer typey. I forget the name of it at this second. Keyboard. On your keyboard, the left shift, and then you just hold it down, and then you just pull from any area, no matter what box it is. As long as it has a couple, you can split it. So this is what I'm doing right here. Now, I'm not saying this is like the exact way you'd want to do it all the time, as you see, but you can do it however you want to split it up for the future. As you see, I've done as much as I can here. I don't want to go any further, so now what would be a smart idea is to get back out, look at my done water molecule that I just got done, and then move to the next section and stuff like that. So, but here is a view of like what my storage looks like as well, because you're going to want to keep a lot of these things in here for backup. As you see, I have the same basic done and fusioned components, most of which you're going to need all of the time, especially this water molecule you see right here, or the hydro liquid, which is like your main source to being able to get some. And as you see, I'm going to be needing some to drink. I'm at 18%, and when you have the stock put together correctly, you can draw from what you need from the storage when you need it. Otherwise, you can come back down here and make as you will. Now, again, I only have one here for demonstration in my other bases, and we'll get to more chapters of those down the road, of what those look like when you spend a lot of time. Real quick, holy jeez, look how special this is. Like, it's so pretty. Like, I am really super enjoying this game. I left the what to do instructions up at the moment. Now, normally right away when I begin, they show up anyways, no matter where you are. And I just normally just J and L it, because that's usually what it is to get rid of them. Um, so, or P and L, sorry. And so, yeah, it definitely saves are very, very important as well. The game, from what I know, from what I've been keeping track, I haven't timed it exactly because I keep forgetting to right when it goes to save automatically. I didn't see it say anywhere, like on Steam or in any board or anything yet. But basically, I think it saves every 15 minutes to every 10 minutes. I could be wrong. It could be more like 25 to 30. I mean, time flies so fast when you're playing this game. And there's lots to do, especially when you have ideas like I do. And okay, so I wanna, before we go to the next portion, I wanted to talk about what side of this island, this the map we're on, and why. I scoped out a lot of areas. I had some success with a few littler areas, but this one seemed to be like the most successful because you're always gonna have these crystals and these gems in this area, and just off to the right and straight ahead. So right to the straight ahead, so beautiful. Is a really good watering hole area where a lot of the animals and creatures and different things show up, mostly monster creature type things. I mean, there's no real like animals at the moment. Like most of them will attack you, so you have no choice but to do your best and jump in there and utilize it. But what I wanted to show you, what I'm doing right now, is what I call the hop. When you don't have anything, like I didn't at the moment, I didn't have. Well, I do have it, but I didn't have in this demonstration a jetpack, which most of you are not going to have right away. So I wanted you to show you like a quick little way to get around. That's just as kooky, I guess, as running. Like you can just run the whole time if you want, but truthfully, hopping pays off because you can look around and you can see stuff, and you are able most of the time, depending on what side of the mountain or how you're traveling, is actually a bit faster than running. Although you can just run and run however you want to run. So, but lastly, before we move on, is I wanted you to see like what it looks like to go around in this area, the beauty as you see of the sky, the stars, the different foliage and different plants and different things and just overall life and stuff. But just wanted you to see a little bit of this as the beginning stages are very tough, I guess. I mean, I don't really consider it tough. I think this is a really, really amazing game. Um, Very much like me and a few others, sometimes there's only one dev, as me being a dev of my own games, and me working really hard on my own game. Um, I know how hard and passionate, it can be to get to that level. So, yeah. So before we end it here, I wanted you to see the different uh, pieces and things I'm getting. However, one of the first components that you're going to want to get as far as on the tree and upgrading of things is always going to be your your mining ability to be able to mine quicker. Like even just the next level from this one is 1,000 times better. And then your gun, you definitely want to have like a real gun, like a more than the standard gun. And you want to have next level shields, even if it's only the next level, but you prefer to have like the third level shield. And we'll get to that. I forget the full name of it because each one has its own specific name, but like on the tree of your character, when you go through the tree of unlocking these things and choosing where to, spend your points and your earnings and stuff like that. that would be really thoughtful to utilize those main things, which is the laser beam, the gathering beam, gathering laser, I think is exactly what they call it. Um, the body shield suits, and a gun. That's your biggest like savior, and especially in the beginning of the game. Past that, your best bet, and we'll get to that in just a moment, which is the battling and you utilizing at least second or third tier level, like katana blade or some type of purple axe or some purple something or other. Anything purple and above, you can really do some serious damage and really move forward. But those are like the real things you need the most. Again, what you get given can get things done, but here's words of advice. Do not take on anybody in the very beginning, honestly. Animals are gonna, monsters and animals are gonna attack you anyways. Try your hardest to just work with them, but just spend the most of your time just, I don't want to use the word grinding, because grinding makes it sound like, oh, what a grind, like, oh, this is such a drag. Oh my gosh, look how pretty this is. Like, oh my gosh, they did such a really good job. The developer, he or she or they or them or whatever, really good job. Really good job. Yeah, so just concentrate on being able to do this, and we'll move on now. So, yes, definitely concentrate and definitely pick up as much as you can, and then go back to your area, dump everything off, and then do it again. Do that 3, 4, and 5 times, and then try to not get into anything during that time, because as you see in the very beginning, you're pretty vulnerable. You don't have much. You don't want to be spending a whole bunch, because you're going to need to savor other aspects of stuff. Trust me. You are going to regret, I don't want to say fooling around, but you can quickly fool around and regret a lot and then give up on this game. Because I don't want to say that this game is in death mode, but you will definitely die really super easy and have a very poor outcome to try and gain those things back, or to go back to the area you died and try to regain your stats, your life, your whatever your inventory was, whatever, right? So take this with a very strong green bow slap to the face. Concentrate very hardly on what I'm saying. Make sure you're doing what I'm doing here, which is just going around and picking up everything you possibly can, but specifically those jewels. A lot of the plants, like those trees and the plants and the rocks, because those are the main water and material that you'll need for most of the things, and the rest are all going to come from these jewels and these crystals that you're going to find everywhere. So we'll get to more of that later. Let's shift gears and get into how to battle once you get past this, because this is a really big stage. I want everybody to know this. This is the biggest part of the game, especially in the beginning, that I'm stressing to everybody. That's why I'm spending such a few more minutes expressing this to you and showing you how I'm hopping around, because in the next sections, I'm going to be more set with more gear, all the, jetpacks I need and things like that, which is well past where you'll be in this beginning. So, but once you get past this, though, the game really starts opening up. But just enjoy the beauty of it. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy and smell the plants. And being a planetarian, like being a planetarier. However you say it. But there it is, y'all. Alright, Tootles for now. Let's get to the next stage. Alright, so here is a specific situation and creature that you cannot get around this creature. You have to, as soon as you see them, you have to try and get them immediately, because they're going to come and get you. So I find that the best weapons in the very beginning, especially when you don't have much, is the daggers, because you just seem to be able to do really cool moves that make a huge difference. Do note that this other creature here is another one that no matter what you do will attack you, and they're usually followed by this other creature, so be very wary of having that. Also, I'm showing you this too because how we take stuff from the inventory, whether it be from creatures, bodies, uh, treasure finds, coves, whatever it is. There's a take all feature now and things that have changed, but I just wanted you guys to see in the very beginning when you still don't have very much, you don't have very many weapons, and you don't have a jetpack, of what things look like. Because the next section I'm going to show you is going to be more advanced, with more advanced features and weapons and things like that. So that's that for the moment. All right, so just a little bit away from our house, off on our base, just over behind me here, is this area that you're gonna see. See, our base is just right over there. So we're gonna head off to the left and forward over here, and this is gonna be your main area that you're gonna wanna milk it, as I call it, because it's the closest to where your water source is for your base, and it's away from your base because you don't want the creatures to follow you right to your base, and you don't want them right next to where you are, period. Anytime, just like in real life, you don't want stuff to go down right in front of your house because things are going to start to happen to your house, to your base, right? In real life and in the game. So make sure that you stay in this area here, and there's a lot, here of resources too, and they replenish quite often. So this is a really good area. Now there's always going to be some type of monster and creatures that are going to attack you anyways, like this one here. Always going to attack you, no matter what you do. So make sure you're on top of your game when it comes to that. And you know what? Way to go for that. Way to go. Anyways. Make sure that you really hold on to a lot of these resources and you're stacking them. Don't just throw them away, because believe it or not, most every single resource so far in this game has been super useful. You need it massively. Just when you don't think you need it, you're gonna need it. Alright, so let's get back to attacking some more monsters here. Alienish like monsters. These ones are the best to attack because gives you a chance to try to work on your defense and your attacks. There's like 3 to 4 different types of attacks, and if you time them correctly, much like Street Fighter almost, or even Devil May Cry, when you have some guns and more things together, you can combine them in a combo, as I call them, the combo takedowns. It's really super cool because you could be in the air and do different stuff, and I'll show you some more of that down the road. But let's just stick with this for the now. So as you see, we really are getting really full here. Like, really have to make some decisions. So normally what you would need to do is have all of these set and ready for what you want. And because I know when I get back, I want to make, and you don't have to do this all the time. I'm just showing you like some quick ways when you're doing, again, I don't want to call it the grind, but you're really getting down with a lot of resources, finding, exploring, mining, crafting, right? So you're trying to set yourself up for every single move. Now, in between me battling, you see that I'm still gathering some resources. Well, because I know I need more, and I need to stay focused. And if you keep a rhythm instead of just bouncing around, you'll find that not only will you have more control, you'll move faster, but you'll understand your crafting abilities, your XP the abilities of your player tree and being able to do more. There's always going to be uh, newer weapons to unlock, especially in the very beginning. There's a lot of work to be done, but just note that as you go through, as you just saw, you can take care of multiples at once. There is a lock-on feature. Most people do not know that there is a lock-on feature. I left over on the left-hand side of the screen, as you can see, I left the display of what is the keys. Now you can combine those keys into your controller. You can bind them to anything, to another set of controller or keyboard or whatever you want to do. But I find that when you lock onto them, it helps a lot when you're battling certain things with melee and with the gun. As you see, I'm only doing the melee at the moment, but when it comes to the gun and stuff, it helps massively. Not that you can't, like most video games, aim and shoot pretty correctly, but it does help a lot when you're bouncing around and you have multiple things happening and other people's or other battles or whatever, because I'm showing you this on your own first instead of showing you this in a multiplayer or people attacking you, because if people are going to attack you while you're trying to do this is going to be even more difficult, and I advise not doing that, not getting yourself geared and set up for that. Now, I chose this pack to show you that this pack sucks. I do not prefer this jetpack because for some odd reason, I haven't said anything to the developer yet, but it really sucks. It has a very low thrust and you just don't get much out of it. And it's almost identical to the other one. Only the other one looks and feels 1,000 times better. And it's kind of shocking, actually. And they're both, like, cost-wise the same and almost look-wise they're almost the same. But I prefer the other one's look and its functionality because you get multiple squirts and jet jump boosts with it at once. And if you time it correctly, by the time you hit the ground, you'll have a lot more bounce versus this one. This one, it barely allows you to do the hop bounce, which is so much more on the other one. So, yeah. But anyways, as you saw, we did roughly almost about 10 different animals and monsters, I should say, and alien, like creatures. And as you saw, I've moved around for space, what I needed and what I didn't need, and what will work and won't work. Making sure that I go through each corpse, and again, this is the older version. I wanted to make sure to do this because I recorded this before they made the full patch, and of course the new chapters and stuff obviously have the new set and stuff. But I just wanted to set this up to show you my first beginning and what I learned, and plus the beginning of what you need to do anyways, because this is the best beginning overall. So, but we'll move on. So you've seen roughly about 10 to 15 to 12 alien takedowns. Now, let me show you a couple of the other ones too, like this flying one here. I find that locking onto them is the best because they have a couple of different attacks that kind of will jack you, like that right there. They kind of come behind you or around you and they'll try to grab you, but they have like a spray grab too, to even if they don't quite touch you or attack you completely, somehow their little spray attack or whatever gets you as well. So be very mindful of those things. And also, last thing is, I don't see one yet, but these particular type, salamander type ones, they will have multiples that will attack you at once, more than any other creature I've noticed. And on top of that, they also have a very, very large king-like one that almost looks identical to them, is just slightly bigger and like has like a little bit different color, slightly. and very hard to take down in the very beginning. So I advise if you come across them, they'll have like two skulls over their head, along with the normal power bar or whatever. They're extra hard to take down in the very beginning. I advise you not attempting that. If you feel brave, sure, go ahead, but you're probably going to find yourself at a loss because they're not very easy to take down. And if you're doing what I'm doing, like most people are going to be doing in the very beginning, you're going to be collecting and gathering and crafting and so on. So don't ruin that portion. Trust me, I did it twice thinking, oh no, let's go ahead and take whoever on and blah blah blah. And no, you can really only take on a few, especially these ones here, are like your maximum. Them and those other ones are your maximum for the moment in the very, very beginning. As you see, that got me. And this is what I wanted to show you, which is, okay, wow, holy crap. Now what? Well, now what is you took on too much. Exactly what I was telling you. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to show this and make a beginner's guide and chapters to this, so you can see how important and how much dividends it pays to have your base where it is, where I have put it, and where you now can go to go collect your storage, your inventory, and anything else that you'll have, like weapons and stuff like that. So when we get to this other area, back to where we were, we'll move on to the next section. But at least now you can see what happens. And I saved this just for this. This was something I've been wanting to show because it had happened a couple of times, and I was like, oh man, sucks. And the one time that it happened, it was really far away, and it really ruined me, and I could not get back in time to get all my inventory and where it was. I got blasted anyways, and it was horrible. So it was not worth it. Here, as you see, I'm fine. And most of the time, the creatures kind of settle down and or freeze wherever they were at that moment. And when you pick up your stuff, you get everything back. If you start hitting them, sometimes they'll come back and continue to keep fighting. Or the ones that are dead will remain to be dead. But make sure you collect them, because the overall time length, especially in the beginning, like it was here, is pretty short. It's gotten a little bit longer, and I heard that they're going to make it a little bit longer. I believe that's what they were saying in the next patch. But again, we'll see. Very early development, and these are things that I wanted to help promote for the game, since the game is very, very large and in depth, very similar to No Man's Sky and other crafting and building and space mining games. So let's go ahead and move on, but that's just a little gist of what we need to do for those things. Alright everybody, so join me next time for Chapter 2, or Episode 2, as we fly some ships. We dive deeper into base building and a much deeper base, and some advanced more jetpacks, as well as the suits as well that I'm wearing, as you see right here, and the purple sword. Till next time, Tootles!